welcome guys to the third episode of the EvoGem podcast. I'm Eddie and I'm here with Colby and Maisie, and let's dive right into it.
Perfect. Well, today we're talking about the power of starting before you're ready. The first thing that I have here is why waiting for perfect timing kills momentum. So we kind of talked about this in the last episode, but I want to build off of it a little bit more. So who wants to go first?
Sure. I think perfect timing, like we said last episode about perfection, it just doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
So I think with that, you'll never be ready. There will never be a time where you'll say, okay, well, this is where the sun is out at 80 degrees exactly, right? Yeah. with 0 miles per hour wind, right? It's just that's something that the brain creates to restrict you from taking action. And I think, taking action will be the perfect time. For me, I was not ready, but when I took that first call, I was super nervous, but I felt like now looking back at that was the perfect time.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. You're given this opportunity for a reason. So why wait? Why construe this idea in your mind of perfect timing? Because if there was perfect timing, you would already be at where you want to be at and not have to start, if that makes sense. The perfect timing for me, if I were going back to the beginning, it'd be where I'm at now.
Right.
And I wouldn't have gotten to where I'm at now without starting.
Sure.
Yep, absolutely. I like you guys said, there's no perfect time to start. I think way too often, everyone, or at least most people, experience paralysis by analysis. And it's just something our mind creates. But something that I love that Benjamin Hardy teaches is you have to be, then do, then have. Literally, you cannot get qualified for anything other than actually doing that action.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that we think, oh, it's like us starting a podcast. We're not we are podcasters now that we're doing it. But before,
yeah.
Well, I had a podcast before.
Yeah,
go check out the Maze Pod. I retired it, but go check it out.
Maze
It's my
is
Instagram.
Us. But that's the thing though. Did you view yourself as a podcaster before a podcast?
Oh, definitely not. I just graduated hair school, so I think I just turned 19. Maybe 18. I can't remember. But I went and bought this microphone. I didn't know what I was doing. My first episodes, horrible. They're not there anymore. You can't find them. Because I restarted my podcast 3 times because I just was I hate this. This is so bad.
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was just yapping to myself. It was so weird at first. So.
For sure. Exactly. For sure. I think with that, just to jump, obviously there will always be risks involved. I mean, with anything in life, right? I mean, if we stop working, there's a risk of not being able to have a roof on top of our heads, right? Or if we don't start doing things now while we're young, we have the opportunity cost, the cost of not living the life that we want to live. And
working to our 60.
Yeah, exactly. Dying on the Walmart floor, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's crazy.
So... Yeah. But I mean, it's really simple. It's not really that complicated. I think also just about, this is a little bit off topic, but just about overcomplicating things. People like to overcomplicate things when they start.
Me.
Yeah. But the thing is that the more overcomplicated you get, the more strategic you get, the more you don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've experienced that firsthand, especially over the past couple of months. Completely shifting my business model to where I'm at. One of my mentors, I keep telling her okay, I gotta have this and this and this and this figured out, and she's just do it. She actually told me how she took a shift also in her niche and who she's marketing towards, and she started reaching out to people about this masterclass she had before she even had a masterclass. She had the slides and she had everything made, but she hadn't ever recorded it. And so then she's telling these people I've got this masterclass, and she's I only recorded it because I had people waiting.
Yeah.
And I told her, I'm I got to start taking plays from your book because I've never done that before. And I've always been so nervous, I've got to have all these things planned out. I'm actually, I don't. I just got to take action and start getting people in the pipeline. And
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Something that Benjamin Hardy says I like, if you guys can't tell, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is by far my favorite author. But he talks about how you cannot scale complexity. Complexity doesn't scale. It just actually creates a bigger and bigger mess. So when you do hop into something, it's good to stay simple, and it's good to just keep going with whatever it may be.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's also like I'm just thinking, putting myself in like a traditional mindset, like a job interview. You're taught to take your experience, whatever it is, even if it doesn't necessarily relate to what you're doing, and make it relate. There's no perfect time. Like when I got my first job, my only like history was babysitting, and I had to find a way to relate that to working at, I don't know, was it TJ Maxx? I don't know. Like I had to do something like that. Like there's no perfect time to start. You're never going to have perfect qualifications until you make those qualifications happen.
Absolutely.
100%. When I started working when I was 15 for my dad and started like editing YouTube videos and stuff, I did not know how to do it. I didn't even take a class on how to do it. I literally just went on YouTube and watched YouTube on how to do it. And then, I mean, that was my first job. I learned on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just the biggest thing for any upcoming entrepreneur that wants to get into the business space or even investments is the biggest thing that holds 90% of people back is starting.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people just don't start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they talk about what they're going to do, and then you check up on them in about
don't
a year,
do it.
and they're like, yeah, I'm still thinking about it, but, you know, I
I
haven't started
cannot
yet.
with those people. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves is when people say they're going to do something and they don't. And obviously things take time, because like I was getting really hard on myself for not creating a bunch of things. And I think there's aspects of my business that I kind of rushed into because I was like getting that way on myself. Like, you're not doing what you said you were going to do. Like, things take time. I understand that. But when you haven't taken any steps and you told me that you're going to be doing this and this is a big dream of yours, like I cannot.
Go crazy.
Yeah, it makes me insane. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, like what is that quote? Like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a valid truth of it. And I mean, and even like, just to put this in clear perspective for everyone, even people who have crazy good ideas are still caught up by that. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and he has a buddy who developed this really cool thing for semi trucks and for cooling systems. And like, literally, I mean, this guy who is like, he developed this cool thing, and then my buddy, he talked to him and he said, hey, listen, like this, like I have several people who I've talked about this could be worth $5 million day one. Like, we could automatically get multi-million-dollar contracts day one if we just start right now. But the guy has not done anything, and he's been stuck in the same place for like a year or two by now.
That's so crazy.
It's wild.
It's just like, I don't understand it. Like, yeah, there's a gap from where you want to be to where you are right now. But like, that fills the gap. That like, if his dreams are to like retire early or whatever, like that sets him up right then and there, day one, to retire.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And like, that's so crazy. There's so much sitting on that opportunity.
Well,
Yeah.
my buddy got so fed up, he got to the point where he's like, you know what, I'm going to approach him next month, and I'm just going to tell him, hey, can I license this? He's like, I'll pay you whatever, and then I'm just going to run with it, because he's like, I can see the potential. You clearly can't.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
for real.
Yeah, and another thing, just bouncing off of that, like, guy having the idea, there's like a saying that I heard. It's like, what is the most valuable piece of real estate? It's the graveyard, because they have all of these ideas that they never started that could have been the next big thing.
The 6 inches between your brain. That's something when I first got into real estate, is they told me like the most valuable thing to invest in is the 6 inches between your brain, or 6 inches between your ears.
Yeah.
Talking about your brain, like that's the most valuable thing you can invest in.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
I've never heard that before.
Right, that's crazy. I love it, though.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. The other thing that I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot it. I do that a lot. Everyone's going to see that doing this podcast. Like, I'll have this idea in my head and then like, I'll forget it.
It's all right.
It just always happens to me. But small and messy actions, we've already kind of like dove into this a little bit, but we can expand it a little bit further over like endless preparation. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think with the analysis paralysis, I think a lot of people get stuck in preparation mode, and they get scared. It's the fear of failing, right? And failure is not the L. The L is quitting.
Yeah.
Right. So like you can fail 5 times, but you know, if you quit, that's the real failure. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's like kind of like my thought process on that. I think, what do you guys think?
Like,
I was gonna say, I think Maisie probably has the most experience with this, with doing her live webinars. I mean, there's probably times when you prepare like for months and then nothing happens. Like you're like kind of like, wait, what? But then
yeah.
there's probably times when you didn't prepare as much, and
Yeah, seriously. I really experienced that with like this last one that I did. I had to kind of just like rush into it and get it done. And I was like, wait, I don't have enough time to generate leads and blah, 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 like freaking out. And she's like, it's fine. Like because I did it with my mentor, Lotus, the one that I was talking about before. And she's like, well, if no one shows up, then no one shows up. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So there was only a couple people on that one. But it still was like successful. We still got a lot of experience out of it. Oh, and I remembered what I was going to say before. I've been listening to the 12-week year. I can't remember the name. I think his name's Brian. We'll link it below. So give credit where it's due. But in there they say like a dream without action a vision without action is just a dream.
Right.
Or a goal without action is just a dream. Something along those lines. Like without taking action, it's just a dream. So the friend of the friend with the semi-truck stuff, like it's just a dream for him at this point because he hasn't taken any action. It could be his reality, but he's not making it his reality.
absolutely.
Right.
He's not taking those small and messy steps. He's not taking any steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, there'll always be messy steps, right?
Mhm.
Like filing for taxes. I mean, that's messy.
Mhm.
I mean, in
Yeah.
my opinion, I don't like filing taxes. No one does, right? But I mean, like, it's just part of the process. But then, you know, the more you do it, the more sharper you get at doing it, or kind of navigating yourself through that. if that
Right.
makes
Yeah.
sense. So
Well, I'd even like there are so many times when I've done something and I've been and I've like thought, oh, this is not really gonna mean anything at all. Like whatever though. Like the prime example I can think of two. One of them was running LinkedIn ads for our firm for like a month.
Oh, yeah.
And I somehow landed a client that like is one of our biggest clients and brought in like several like executives from like some of the biggest tech companies you guys have ever heard of.
Mhm.
And then another example is I went to this networking event. It was a morning networking event. It was like a breakfast type thing. And I remember going in there thinking, this is going to be lame. I paid $35 for probably the most lame event. And I'm like not excited about it at all. And then me and like another guy who literally thought the exact same thing, him and we got connected while we were there, and he was running a huge like network called Acquisition HQ. And then he was running an event called AquaCon, all about M&A transactions. And now we're their title sponsor, and we've been doing crazy cool things together. So I think about like how you can do something that you think will not mean anything at all, but it actually will change the course of several things.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and that actually bleeds like right in. Bleeds is probably not a good
transition.
yeah,
word.
a good transition. Oh well, segues into the next point, which I had, which is real stories of how imperfect action and imperfect starts created breakthroughs, and you just like nailed that on the head real good. Do you have any?
Yeah, I do. When I started my real estate business, I didn't really know, or just started my real estate journey, I didn't really know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
So when I called up, like, because I call up a lot of agents, and you know, when I call up an agent, I was like, hey, you know, and I'd even ask about the house. I'd even ask about the seller situation. I just said, is your seller interested in creative financing or seller financing or a cash offer? And it's like, I didn't create any discussion, right? Yeah. And that was the mistakes that I was making, and I didn't even know. But I was just so hungry and ambitious to just go and at least make those calls. It was nerve-wracking in the beginning. Like I was like, oh shoot, like what am I going to say? I'm just going to say what I'm going to say, and then you know, just be straightforward about it. But you know, with those mistakes, and even when I worked under you know, my mentor Blaine, you know, a lot of the things that I said to agents, you know, I was being trained, I was being mentored, but like I just didn't know how to formulate the perfect script, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like I soon come to realize after all of those mistakes, after all that repetition, that I found a way that was comfortable for me, that suited my personality trait, and then created this success. So I think instead of preparing yourself and trying to memorize a script or whatever the case may be, that was kind of like my big thing, just having to do with mistakes at the end of the day.
Yeah, for
So-
sure. And I think one of the biggest examples for me is just getting started with my live webinars and master classes and things like that. The first one I did, I really didn't want to. I was so nervous. I was nervous for like hours after I hopped off that master class. But I got calls booked out of it. And the next one after that, I got calls booked out of it. And it was like taking that imperfect action to do those, I got results. And then the next step of that was I didn't know anything about sales. My sales calls so bad. I hopped on this one and like I hopped off and I was crying. I was like, after the end, I was like, okay, this is so bad. And that really is like an imperfect action that made me realize like I need to learn this skill. I need to learn how to handle objections. I need to learn how to do all of this. And that's what really got me into like She Sells by Shelby Sapp is just, and like being mentored by Shelby Sapp herself, the sales queen. If you haven't heard of her, go check her out on Instagram. We'll link it below. But like taking those imperfect actions made me realize that I need to go through this, and I wouldn't be managing a sales team like I am right now. I wouldn't be talking to leads every single day. Like I actually got to the point where I used to hate voice messages. I used to hate them so bad. And it got to the point where now that I'm reaching out to people, random people, like I would get so much anxiety if someone sent me a voice message and I couldn't tell what it said beforehand because I couldn't prepare my response. And now it's to the point that like I can talk to them in a voice message back and be totally fine. And that like where I'm at right now and doing all of these different things is like in teaching sales in Evogen and teaching sales to the next generation, and like just everything that I'm doing right now resulted in so many imperfect, terrible sales calls and just messy actions that I've taken before. So
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, fail fast, fail forward, right?
yeah.
Like every failure adds up to your eventual success.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of time. And that's the big thing too, you know, kind of like with the patience part, you know, with any investment, because, you know, I deal with a lot of the investment space.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a saying, I think by Warren Buffett, it's like, if you don't own a stock, like if you're not considering to own a stock for 10 years, don't own the stock. Like, or at least for a minute or something like that. Yeah. So it's like you need to have a long-term vision rather than a short-term voting machine, or, you know, kind of like short-term mindset, because it's going to get you everywhere. You're going to have the shiny object syndrome, right?
Yeah, I definitely dealt with that for a while. We'll talk about that in another episode. But shiny object syndrome is real.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. You guys fill in.
Yeah, Colby, you have anything? Or
I mean, along the lines of like failing, I mean, it is just trial and error, right? Like we all have, like, every time we've started something, you gave your example with sales, Maisie with her webinars and with her master classes and everything. And then even me with like networking, like you're never ever going to do something the first time perfectly.
Yeah,
or
no.
even, like good or like moderately good. Like it's gonna suck, period. Like
sure.
You just have to like live with it, but then also appreciate it in a sense.
Yeah, you have to take the scenic route. You have to like enjoy where you're at, because if you only enjoy the destination and the end goal, like you're not going to be happy by the time you reach that end goal. You're going to be miserable.
Right.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And I also was going to add in, if anything that we're saying like it makes you like discouraged, or like hearing that we've gone through so many trials and errors before and that makes you discouraged and that you don't want to do it, then maybe you're not the right person for Evogen. Yeah. But if anything that we're saying is like inspiring you and like you're like, man, I want to be where they are in a couple years. Like, it's definitely possible. We're proof that it's possible. And so stick around. But like I said, if that's turning you off, maybe just turn the podcast off.
I mean, and it's worth like that. That's totally cool and worth mentioning because it's not for everybody.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
just the truth of it. Not everybody wants to go through like what we have gone through and what several other people have gone through.
Yeah.
It's not,
Some people are just meant to be mediocre. So,
Yeah. The brutal reality is that there's not going to be, not everyone is meant for entrepreneurship. Not everyone is meant for owning assets, right? So, yeah. And, you know, I mean, it sounds pretty blunt, but that's just the reality of it, right? We can't
Yeah.
sugarcoat this.
and if that
So-
offends you, like, I'm not sorry. Like, change your mindset, change your life, listen to more of our episodes or something. I don't know. Like, if that's offensive, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, in the end, it just depends on what makes you happy. But in the end, this is what makes us happy. Like,
Yeah.
I can honestly look back on my whole like upbringing and like the time I've been happiest is when I'm working on businesses and like
Yeah, me too.
scaling and growing. If I'm sitting in school, I hated it, and some people love it, and there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
literally-
there's
that.
nothing wrong with that.
I did not go to school. I graduated with like a 3.9 GPA somehow, but I did not go to school. I had over 200 absences every single year, like
Wow.
for class periods, because obviously there's less than 200 days in a school year. But
Yeah.
like I just didn't go because I didn't feel like I needed to. I hated
right.
it. So
Makes sense.
Wow.
The world is changing too, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
there's access to knowledge elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can gain knowledge for free. You can gain knowledge by putting yourself out there, being in the right room.
Yep.
So,
Well, I was just in a council launch for Acquisition HQ for Salt Lake City, and one of the guys I was talking to, he's a very prominent figure in the investment banking industry, and he mentors. He has a lot of interns from universities like Penn State and several other like really big Ivy Leagues and even BYU. And I was talking to him, and he said that the one thing that he wishes they got that they do not have is they don't use AI.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they don't
you
know
were
how to
telling
use
us about
AI.
this.
College, yeah, exactly. College isn't teaching this stuff, and then
You can't use
you
AI.
get penalized.
Yeah, you get in trouble for using ChatGPT.
But that's what the real world is looking for. Like
Right.
when you get out in the business industry, they're looking to our generation to know AI in and out and to use it for everything.
sure.
Yeah, and
So
It's all about being effective and efficient at the end of the day, right?
yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, the whole world, like, everything is changing so quickly, and that can scare you, or you can roll with it. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking about AI. I actually have like 10 AI employees that work for me and do my stuff. Like, I don't even check my emails anymore. My AI
Right.
Yeah.
bot does it for me. And there's so many people that are like scared of AI. I mean, there's aspects of it that scare me too, but it's like I can be scared of it and not touch it,
Yep.
or I can grow and succeed and learn the ins and outs of it and be farther ahead than everyone else with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, the reality is AI is not going to replace the workforce. It's the workforce that works with AI is going to replace the workforce.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're somebody who's working and you don't know how to use AI, you're going to get replaced by somebody else who knows how to use AI.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
can do their job faster and
Yeah.
more efficient, like you were saying.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, and just to kind of put another topic out there too is that, you know, every setback will always have its opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like there's a saying that says every past crash, you know, market crash
Yeah.
looked like an opportunity, and every future crash looks like a risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of the mentality that we have to break, and we have to see every negative as an
Mhm.
opportunity, every positive as an opportunity to
Just-
build on top of that you know,
Everything
positive
is an
outcome.
opportunity.
Sure.
Absolutely.
One of the things, like taking it back to real estate, like the 2008 market crash, that's where some people became millionaires and billionaires
Yeah.
in real estate. So you can't just
Mhm.
go with the rest of the world and think like, wow, this really sucks. Like, that's it for us. Like,
Yeah.
you have to learn how to keep moving and persevering.
Well, that is like one thing that I gotten super annoyed with is everyone talking about, oh, this economy.
I hate
This economy
that.
sucks. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, but I've seen like so many millionaires and billionaires in this economy. It's just your mindset. Like,
Yeah.
you are you're the problem. Like, if you're
Yeah.
thinking this economy sucks, you are the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Your economy
For
sucks,
real.
not our economy. Your economy sucks.
I mean, like, yeah, things are getting more expensive, but like, make a way to afford it.
Yeah.
I actually listened to this really great podcast called The Diamond Life Mentor a couple days ago, and he was just talking about how you need to like not be reckless with your spending. Obviously, like, don't go spend 20K if you don't have 20K. Obviously, like, don't increase your spending, but increase your mindset so that, like, in your head, you need to be making 20K months. So if you don't end up making that, then like you push yourself harder the next month and the next month after that.
100%.
And once you like, when you're only making like 10K months, like, you're going to be a little bit harder on yourself. Yeah, that's a great accomplishment. Like, celebrate that win if it's like something new for you, obviously, but it's not where you want to be. And so, like, and once you finally get to those 20K months, like, you're going to have a plan for where that money's going to go. You're going to have a plan for what it's going to do. So,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, that's how you get to where you want to be, is like, it's not, oh, what can I afford? It's how can I afford?
yeah,
Yeah,
how can
right.
I make this work?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then going back to the, like, how every, like, setback or crash is an opportunity, we just had a recent experience in our business where some things, like, they came to a head. There were some issues and stuff, and what came out of it was invaluable. I mean,
Yeah.
we're changing stuff in our business that will create such a huge impact for the future of the business, and that will increase its value and everything about it. So, I mean, even like when a crash happens or when something happens in a setback, you can take that moment to reflect on it and to learn so much, because failures and setbacks and crashes are where you're going to learn the most, because they're going to be the most impactful to you.
Yeah. There was a sales call that I was on with a mentor. Well, not a sales call, but it was like a role play. And the feedback that I got, like, I got off and I was like, wow, I suck at sales. Like, I literally was like, I just failed. And then, like, but I've been able to take so much more from that, and it's stuck with me more than if I would have hopped up and she was like, yeah, you did great, good job. Like,
Right.
I would be still making the same mistakes, but she was like so
Right.
blunt with me and like so like,
That's
okay, no,
awesome.
this is what you got to change. And she's like, honestly, this is something I wish that someone told me in the beginning. And at first I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, you just broke my soul. Like, I really took it personally, and that stuck with me, and that's like helped me push myself to do better and realize, yeah, I do need to get better at this.
For sure. For sure.
So, yeah, I mean, we've covered all of the points and more. This is probably our longest episode. This has been great.
It is.
But do you guys have anything else before we close out?
No, not as of right now personally for me, but stay tuned for the next episode.
Yep, stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be dropping event info. Once this episode finally comes out, we'll be dropping a ton of event info on our Instagram, which is just Evogen Capital on Instagram. So go follow that. Go stay tuned. We have a ton of big things coming up.
Yes, sir. We're excited for you guys.